Here is a well-known saying that envisions the future is Asian. As China rises to become the second largest economy globally, it is spearheading the growth of other Asian nations, particularly within the ASEAN bloc. The ASEAN, or the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, was established in 1967 initially as a security arrangement among Indonesia, Malaysia, the Philippines, Singapore, and Thailand. Over time, ASEAN's membership has doubled, and it has not only withstood the challenges of the Asian financial crisis in 1997 and the global economic crisis in 2008 but has also grown to become the world's sixth largest economy. Remarkably, this economic progress has been accompanied by a focus on human development, lifting millions of people out of poverty across the region. The primary objective of ASEAN is to foster political and economic stability in Southeast Asia. At the outset, the region's diverse cultures, languages, and political systems posed challenges to unity. However, ASEAN has made significant strides in regional cooperation, establishing initiatives like the ASEAN Free Trade Area, AFTA, and other economic and political measures. Comparatively, the European integration project had its origins in the establishment of the European Coal and Steel Community in 1951, aiming to promote economic cooperation and prevent future conflicts among European nations. This initiative led to the formation of the European Economic Community, EC, in 1957, which eventually evolved into the present-day European Union, EU. Through a series of treaties and agreements, the EU created a single market, a customs union, and the Eurozone, a common currency. Now, the question arises whether ASEAN can surpass the European Union and emerge as a new superpower on the global stage. While Asia, with China and India at the forefront, is undoubtedly becoming an economic powerhouse, the potential of Southeast Asian countries, represented by ASEAN, cannot be ignored. The comparison with the European Union raises curiosity about whether ASEAN can become the new Europe in terms of regional cooperation and economic influence. The answer to this intriguing question awaits in this video. ASEAN's economy, a comparative analysis. Back in 1991, the ASEAN bloc contributed a mere 1.7% to the global economy. However, today, that share has doubled, reaching 3.5%, or 6.1% when measured using purchasing power parity. In the same period, ASEAN's share of the global population also increased, albeit modestly, from 8.3% to 8.6%. Presently, ASEAN is home to approximately 666 million people and stands as the fifth largest economy worldwide, with a GDP of around $10.2 trillion in 2022. Despite these impressive figures, the EU still outpaces ASEAN in terms of current economy. In 2022, the combined GDP of the 27 European member countries amounted to about $16.6 trillion. The euro serves as the second largest reserve currency and the second most traded currency globally after the United States dollar, but unlike the EU, ASEAN does not have a common currency among its members. When it comes to economic growth, Europe appears to be losing momentum. Over the past decade, Europe's GDP growth rate fluctuated between 1 to 3%. In stark contrast, the average GDP growth of ASEAN countries ranged from 4 to 5% on average. This trend led Malaysia's International Trade and Industry Minister to predict in 2015, during the World Economic Forum, that ASEAN would overtake the European Union in the next 10 to 15 years. The minister cited ASEAN's average annual economic growth of 5% compared to the EU's less than 2%, indicating that it was only a matter of time before ASEAN surpassed the EU in economic terms. Indeed, ASEAN's significance has been on the rise, exemplified by becoming China's largest trading partner in the first 3 months of 2020, surpassing both the EU and the United States. During that period, ASEAN-China trade grew by 6% year-on-year to reach $140 billion, accounting for 15% of China's total trade volume. China's search for alternative trade partners during the trade war further solidified ASEAN's prominence. However, this doesn't imply that Europe's economy will remain stagnant or that ASEAN's progress is assured. Analysts expect the EU to reclaim its position as China's largest trading partner after the pandemic subsides. Additionally, there are numerous challenges and issues that Southeast Asia must address to become the next Europe. While ASEAN's economic growth and regional influence have been noteworthy, it remains to be seen how the dynamics will unfold in the global economic landscape, and both regions have their unique sets of opportunities and challenges to navigate. Challenges faced by ASEAN countries. ASEAN is a diverse group of countries, not a monolithic market. Indonesia, as a member of the G20, represents nearly 40% of the region's economic output, while Myanmar is still in the process of developing its institutions after decades of isolation. The disparity in GDP per capita is significant, with Singapore's being more than 30 times higher than Laos and over 50 times higher than Cambodia and Myanmar. This diversity extends to cultural, linguistic, and religious aspects, with varying preferences and sensitivities across the region. Investors must be cautious not to apply a one-size-fits-all strategy due to such wide variations in these markets. Unlike the EU, which benefits from the euro as its common currency within the Eurozone, ASEAN does not have a unified currency, and member states retain control over their monetary policies. Moreover, the organizational structures of ASEAN and the EU differ significantly. The EU is a supranational organization where member states have pooled their sovereignty in specific areas, leading to the establishment of institutions like the European Parliament, court system, single currency, euro, and foreign service. The ASEAN Secretariat is significantly smaller than the European Commission in terms of personnel, employing fewer than 400 staff members compared to the EU Commission's impressive workforce of over 23,000 personnel. Likewise, ASEAN's annual budget of approximately $20 million is incredibly small when compared to the EU Commission's substantial budget of around $180 billion. The EU's strength lies in its political integration, where common policies and regulations are applied across member states, fostering unity and coherence. On the other hand, ASEAN adheres to the principle of non-interference in each other's internal affairs, which contributes to regional stability but can limit collective action when addressing pressing regional challenges. For instance, disputes in the South China Sea have proven difficult to address collectively due to differing national interests among ASEAN members. While ASEAN's diversity presents opportunities, it also poses challenges that necessitate a nuanced approach. As the region continues to integrate and navigate these differences, it is crucial for investors and policymakers to be mindful of local contexts and sensitivities to foster meaningful collaboration and growth. Southeast Asia, poised for remarkable growth. Morgan Stanley predicts that by the end of the year, Asia's growth will outpace that of the US and Europe, mainly due to the region being largely unaffected by interest rate shocks. Chief Asia economist Chetan Nahaya suggests that by the fourth quarter, Asia's growth will outperform that of the US and Europe by approximately 450 basis points. The expectation is for Asia to deliver stronger growth rates while the West experiences a lag. Additionally, China's broad recovery is anticipated in the second half of the year, and significant Asian economies like India, Indonesia, and Japan are displaying robust domestic demand. Given these favorable growth prospects for Southeast Asia, can ASEAN emerge as the next superpower? According to a study, the answer is affirmative. Projected to attain an annual growth rate exceeding 5.5% per year, ASEAN is expected to surpass both the EU and Japan to become the world's fourth largest economy by 2050, trailing only China, India, and the United States. This growth projection is underpinned by favorable demographics. With over 380 million people under the age of 35, comprising 58% of the population, ASEAN's youth demographic is approximately 20% larger than the entire population of the United States. Furthermore, ASEAN boasts the world's third-largest labor force, following only China and India. The region's middle class is anticipated to more than double from 135 million to 334 million individuals, accounting for 51% of the population by 2030. The growth of sustainable urbanization is a critical element in this demographic expansion, with an estimated 70% of ASEAN's population projected to reside in urban areas by 2050. In conclusion, ASEAN's goal of surpassing the European Union as a dominant regional bloc is ambitious but not impossible. While the EU possesses well-established integration, economic size, and political cohesion, ASEAN has its unique strengths and potential to amplify its regional influence and prominence. Regarding the future, it is evident that Asia's significance as an economic powerhouse is gaining momentum. With impressive growth projections and robust demographics, ASEAN and the broader Asian region have the potential to play a central role in shaping the global landscape. Whether ASEAN will ultimately surpass the EU remains to be seen, but the future undoubtedly holds great promise for Asia as an essential driver of global growth and development. Do you think ASEAN could surpass EU and it is just a matter of time? Do you believe that the future is in Asia? Share your thoughts and leave your comments below. If you like what you watch, hit the like button to show your support. More importantly, subscribe to this channel so that you will receive more interesting videos about the happenings in Asia.